Jana Duggar's heartbreaking loss, a tragic journey through grief and mourning. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. For Duggar family latest news update, please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. The Duggar family has long been a name that resonates deeply with fans of reality TV, especially those who followed 19 Kids and counting on. Jana Duggar, the eldest daughter of Jim, Bob, and Michelle Duggar, has often been the subject of much public interest. Known for her sweet nature, hardworking spirit, and deep family values, Jana has always been at the heart of the Duggar family story. However, behind the cameras and the public appearances, Jana has faced her own personal heartache, a heartache that many people may never have known until recently. In a moment of deep tragedy, Jana Duggar's pregnancy ended in heartbreak. In this article, we will explore the pain, sorrow, and overwhelming grief that Jana and her family experienced after losing a baby during pregnancy. We will also touch on Stephen, the man who supported Jana during her most challenging time, and the impact of this tragedy on the Duggar family as a whole. A moment of joy turns into unimaginable heartache. Jana Duggar's journey to motherhood was one that many of her fans had eagerly followed. As the eldest daughter in the Duggar family, Jana had often been seen as a caregiver to her younger siblings, constantly helping her mother, Michelle, manage the household and taking on a leadership role in the family. Despite the intense media attention and constant speculation about her personal life, Jana had kept many details private. However, in the summer of 2024, the news of Jana's pregnancy spread like wildfire. The Duggar family, known for their large families and traditional values, had always emphasized the joys of parenthood, and fans were thrilled at the prospect of Jana becoming a mother herself. She had shared a few glimpses into her life with her social media followers, and the pregnancy seemed to be a new chapter of happiness for her. But as the months passed, Jana's joy began to turn to uncertainty and worry. At a routine checkup, Jana and her partner, Stephen, received devastating news. The baby, whom they had already begun to love, was no longer developing as it should. Doctors informed the couple that the baby had passed away in the womb, leaving them in a state of shock and disbelief. The news was nothing short of devastating for Jana. She had longed for this moment. She had dreamed of being a mother, of holding her child in her arms. To have those dreams ripped away so suddenly felt like an unthinkable cruelty. Stephen's role in Jana's journey, the silent support. Stephen, Jana's partner, was by her side every step of the way. A quiet, steady presence. He understood the weight of the loss, though his grief was often overshadowed by the emotional turmoil Jana was going through. As the woman who had carried the baby, Jana was the one whose pain was most evident. Yet, Stephen, too, was deeply affected by the loss. It was a silent grief that often went unspoken, but one that tore him apart just as much as it did Jana. In moments when Jana needed him most, Stephen was there, holding her hand, offering words of comfort, and doing his best to shield her from the harshness of the world outside. For Stephen, the loss was more than just the death of a child. It was the loss of a dream, of a future they had both hoped to share. But Stephen's love for Jana was unwavering. Despite the pain that haunted their every step, Stephen stood by Jana's side as she navigated the difficult process of miscarriage. He was there when the tears fell, when the silence felt unbearable, and when they had to say goodbye to the child they had hoped to raise together. He became her rock during the storm, a role that many men in similar situations would struggle to embody. Jana's heartbreak, a grief that transcends words. For Jana, the pain of losing a baby was overwhelming. She had already formed an emotional bond with the child growing inside her, and to lose that connection was like having her heart ripped out. Grief is a complicated emotion. There are no rules for how to process it, and no one can tell you the right way to grieve. But for Jana, the grief she felt was one that consumed her. It was a grief that seeped into her daily life, making every moment feel like a reminder of what could have been. It was a grief that haunted her thoughts at night and stole her peace during the day. It was a grief that made her feel as though she had lost not just a baby, but a piece of herself. Jana struggled to find the words to describe her emotions. In her quiet moments, she tried to comprehend how something so beautiful and full of hope could be taken away in such a brutal and incomprehensible way. She thought of the baby she had hoped to raise, of the nursery that would never be filled with the sound of laughter, and the love that would never be shared. Her family, as supportive as they were, couldn't completely understand the depths of Jana's grief. While they did their best to comfort her, they, too, were shaken by the loss. Jim, Bob, and Michelle, who had experienced the joy of seeing so many children grow up, could not fathom the pain of losing a child before even meeting them. But they rallied behind Jana, offering their love and support in any way they could. A family united in grief. The Duggar family is no stranger to public scrutiny. For years, their lives have been the subject of tabloid gossip and reality TV drama. But in the face of tragedy, the family came together in a way that transcended fame or media attention. The loss of a baby was a deeply personal experience for Jana, and though the Duggars had shared many moments with their fans over the years, this was a time when they chose to keep much of their grief private. The family's love and unity were evident in how they rallied around Jana. They knew that there was no fixing her pain, no magic words that could make it go away. But they also knew that their presence and their support would help her heal, even if it took time. Jana's siblings, some of whom had already started their own families, were especially empathetic. While the older Duggar children have faced their own struggles in the public eye, many of them found themselves reflecting on their own families and the fragility of life. They expressed their grief for Jana through messages of support, offering words of love and understanding as she navigated the painful journey of mourning. Jana's journey of healing. Despite the overwhelming pain, Jana showed remarkable strength in the wake of her loss. It was clear that she had a deep well of resilience, even when it felt as though the world had come crashing down around her. While no amount of strength could undo the heartache she felt, Jana found small ways to begin healing. She allowed herself to feel the pain, to mourn the loss, but she also made space for moments of joy and hope. With time, she came to understand that healing is not linear, and it does not mean forgetting the child she lost. Instead, it meant finding a way to live with the pain, to honor the memory of the child, and to move forward. Jana eventually began to focus on the future, taking small steps to rebuild her life. She found comfort in talking with other women who had experienced similar losses, sharing their stories, and understanding the depth of each other's grief. Jana Duggar and Ben Sewell got divorced today. It was a quiet Sunday morning in Springdale, Arkansas, or at least it should have been. Birds chirped gently, the town's church bells rang like clockwork, and families prepared for worship. But inside the massive, brick-walled Duggar family estate, the calm had shattered like glass. Jana Duggar Sewell, once the smiling, polished face of family values and purity culture, stood frozen by the window, clutching a manila envelope. Her husband, Ben Sewell, wasn't home. He hadn't been home for 2 nights, and now, the truth was unraveling in front of her eyes. Inside the envelope were photographs, emails, bank statements, evidence. Ben hadn't just been hiding something, he'd been hiding everything. The perfect life, or so it seemed from the outside. Jana and Ben had the perfect life. They were the golden couple of the Duggar extended family, deeply religious, always smiling, and raising their 4 children in a God-fearing home. Their YouTube videos had thousands of views, their sponsored content was thriving, and they often posted Bible verses in floral fonts across social media. But behind the filtered photos, their marriage had been crumbling. Ben, who once seemed shy and soft-spoken, had grown distant. He stayed late at the gym. He took work calls in the garage. And lately, he had developed a strange interest in law enforcement, volunteering for community patrol programs and attending police workshops, even though he wasn't qualified. Jana had her suspicions, but she'd always been taught to submit to her husband and never question the man of the house. Until one day, a woman named Anita messaged her on Instagram. Anita and the unraveling. Anita wasn't the type to stay silent. She was bold, beautiful, and had nothing to lose. "I think you deserve to know the truth," the message read. At first, Jessa thought it was spam or a jealous fan, but Anita wasn't bluffing. She had pictures of Ben, from late nights at hotels in Fayetteville, receipts from luxury boutiques in Dallas, even a short video where Ben kissed her cheek as he slid into a black pickup truck. For weeks, Jessa tried to ignore the growing signs. Maybe it was a misunderstanding. Maybe she was just overthinking, but deep down she knew, and Anita had more than secrets. She had leverage. I wasn't the only one, Anita later admitted, in a voice note that would go viral just weeks later. The police knocked at it was 6:13 a.m. on a Wednesday. When the police arrived, a neighbor's doorbell camera caught it all. 2 officers walked up to the house, knocked 3 times, and waited. Ben answered, wearing sweatpants and a CrossFit shirt, looking like he hadn't slept. They arrested him on the spot. The charges? Fraud, identity theft, unauthorized use of state law enforcement equipment. Ben had apparently been impersonating a community officer, using false credentials to gain access to private records. He had even created a fake badge. Why? The public would soon learn it had nothing to do with law and order. He'd been using the badge to gain trust, from women, from local businesses, from churches who didn't ask too many questions. The family divide. When the news broke, the internet exploded. All over trended on Twitter for 2 days straight. Instagram Reels dissected every second of the police footage. YouTubers uploaded 45-minute breakdowns titled Jana Duggar Sewell Divorce? What really happened with Ben inside the Duggar family? Chaos erupted. Some siblings supported Jessa, quietly texting her encouragement and promising help. Others, especially the older, more conservative ones, believed she should stay and pray for her husband's redemption. But Jessa had made up her mind. She filed for divorce the next morning. The courtroom and the cameras. The courtroom was packed. Jessa wore a gray blazer and minimal makeup, her expression unreadable. Ben sat beside his lawyer, clearly nervous, his once boyish charm gone. Anita was there too, subpoenaed as a witness. The trial revealed everything. Fake IDs, hacked emails, even hush money paid to a woman in Nashville. Ben had gone far beyond infidelity. He had orchestrated a network of lies that shocked even seasoned reporters. He was sentenced to 14 months in federal prison and 5 years of probation. Jessa never looked at him once. Moving forward, after the trial, Jessa released a video titled Starting Over, My Truth. It was raw, emotional, and honest. She spoke about shame, about being raised to believe divorce was sinful, about the pain of realizing your whole life was built on an illusion. That I thought I knew what love was, she said. I thought I knew what loyalty meant. But sometimes, love means walking away. The video received over 4 million views in 1 week. She later launched a podcast called Unfiltered Grace, where she interviewed other women raised in high-control environments, sharing stories of breaking free. Anita became a guest on episode 4. Redemption and revenge. Ben's release from prison was quiet. He moved to Missouri, changed his name, and disappeared from the public eye. Rumors swirled that he tried to join a new church under an alias, but Reddit detectives were quick to expose him. Jessa, meanwhile, thrived. She published a book, Raised Right, Hurt Wrong, which topped Christian memoir charts. Her kids went to a progressive school in Little Rock, and she even started dating slowly, cautiously, but with a sense of freedom she'd never known. As for Anita, she became an influencer, with a fierce following of women supporting women. Her memoir, The Other Woman Who Found Herself, sold out pre-orders in 48 hours. Epilogue. The Duggar name. The Duggar family name would never be the same. What was once a symbol of tradition and purity became a reminder of how much can go wrong when appearances are valued over truth. But Jessa didn't regret any of it. I may have lost a husband, she wrote in her book's final chapter, but I found myself. Jessa Duggar admits that she's struggling to bounce back after giving birth to baby number 6. Now that Jessa Duggar is settling in as a mom of 6, she's opening up about the ways that her body has changed postpartum. In a new YouTube vlog the former Counting On star shared on Monday, she revealed that she is struggling to bounce back after giving birth to baby Edward in July, and just like for many new moms, for her that means both losing weight and finding clothes that make her feel comfortable in her postpartum body. Jessa shared an update on her life with 6 kids. Edward arrived at the end of July, and since then, it seems like Jessa, Her husband Ben Seawald and their 5 older kids have found a way to their new routine, including homeschooling. Edward is a really great, easy baby, and I'm thankful for that, she said. He sleeps really well. Sometimes I get 4 to 5 hour stretches, and sometimes I have to wake him up. Sounds like the adjustment to a family of 8 is going smoothly. When it comes to post-pregnancy weight loss, Jessa said she still has a long ways to go. She explained that after gaining 45 pounds during her pregnancy with baby Edward, she's already jumped into using a fitness app to help move her weight loss along. I want to say probably half of that weight's gone just from giving birth and a big baby and the placenta and all the water weight and everything from summer. But I'm like, boy, I still have a long ways to go, she said. She can't help but feel a bit frustrated.